Hello, beautiful. Welcome back to my Chanel. Today, are you ready to take a trip down memory lane? No, I haven't been there, I promise. Today, we're going to take a trip through history in another ancient historical makeup scandal video. It's a working title, girls. You'll have to just bear with me. So, because the last one of this video did so well, I think you guys would love to hear more about makeup in history that could literally kill you. This one, however, is a little bit different. It wouldn't necessarily kill you, but we'll get into that later. So this week on I Probably Would Have Died Back Then, we're going to be looking into Aqua Tofana. Now, I actually don't know a lot about whatever this substance is, but lots of you guys actually commented it in the comments on the last video. So if you want me to cover a topic of ancient historical makeup scandals, leave it in the comments box below and you might see it in an upcoming video. So, shall we begin? So I know absolutely nothing about this or where to start. So I'm going to go onto the Google machine and type Aqua Tofana. Is that how you spell it? I'm not a boomer, I promise. Amazing. Oh my goodness. Wonderful. There's actually a scientific article based on it. So I'm going to start there. On to Science Direct we go. Aqua Tofana, a poison first developed in Sicily in about 1630. So, you know, just literally last week for me, girls. It became the subject of a notorious trial that took place in Rome in 1659. That's a long time ago, girls. Although apparently based on arsenic, it was so notorious by the early 18th century that it began to be ascribed almost magical properties. If there's anything I love more than science, it's people being like, "Ah, she's a witch!" Because she is a very clever chemist. If you're not doing things that would have burnt you as a witch in the 1600s, are you even really living? So Aqua Tofana became a catch-all term referring to an imagined class of slow poisons. Ooh, I'm guessing aqua means water, and I don't know what Tofana means, but we'll have to have a little look-see into that later. They were thought to be precise, undetectable, and invariably lethal. That's the name of my upcoming biography book. Popular belief in the existence of slow poisons remained common well into the 19th century, and details of the original Aqua Tofana were largely obscured and forgotten. So, we have a poison by the looks of it. Now, I don't know why this is exactly a poison, but here I see the name Giulia Tofana, so we're going to Google that. Have a little Google, girls. So on medium.com, there is Meet the Woman Who Poisoned Makeup to Help Over 600 Women. We have an original Gangster Beach in the house, girls. Please open, thank you. I'm not a boomer. I've opened the tab 3 times. Maybe I am a boomer after all. Oh, how stunning does she look? Have a little look at this, girls. Meet the Woman Who Poisoned Makeup to Help Over 600 Women Murder Their Husbands. With a concoction known as Aqua Tofana, Giulia, I'm having a mental breakdown, found a creative solution for Renaissance women in need of divorce. I see. Of course, so back in this day and age, divorce would have been like a huge no-no. It would have been like, you've committed sin, girls. She's the most powerful, successful serial killer whose name you've never heard. I'm all about serial killers, girl. I love them. I don't know how to say this. Giulia Tofana killed hundreds of men in 17th century Italy when she turned her makeup business into a poison factory. I love it. Avon lady calling. Do you need to murder your husband, girls? It became a deadly concoction called Aqua Tofana, thought to have been laced with arsenic, lead, and belladonna. Well, we've already covered lead and belladonna, haven't we, girls? So arsenic's a new one. Lovely. Tofana made it her mission and her business to help aspiring widows. No, we're no longer sugar babies, girls. We're aspiring widows. Ooh. To murder their husbands. During the Renaissance, an era of arranged marriages that left no possibility of divorce, the only way out of an unhappy union was death. Arranged marriages, they're not it, sis, are they? Let's be honest. I know that's a very light-hearted approach to it, but honestly, women were often forced into marriage by their families without having a say in the matter. That is the most horrific thing about history, and it is still going on in today's world. Literally, women being forced to do anything against their will is just, it makes my blood boil and my piss seep. Oh, God. It makes me so angry. As women, we are not property. Once married, husbands had complete control over their wives, and women were often completely powerless. So back in the day, you couldn't earn money, you couldn't own land, you couldn't, have a say in your marriage. You had to just literally be a slave, essentially, a powerless slave, and that is unacceptable. So in general here, it sounds to me like we have an OG gangster woman who's like developed this poison to sell in makeup to be like, dearest Sandra. Oh, that's not a very Roman name, is it? What should we say? Dearest Meredith von Engelbert, apply this dribble to his tea, and by the third moon his soul shall belong to me. Have fun, girls. If you are going to marriage as an ancient man or a man that wants to control their wife, what is wrong with you? As a human being, where did you get smashed in the head in your growing up? Oh my god, my room is haunted. It's the spirit of the husbands. They've come to complain to the manager. I literally cannot believe, like, if you are a husband who wants to, like, control someone, like, what the hell is wrong with you? Was it, like, what? Wouldn't it be much nicer to just be in a loving relationship and feel so loved and give your love to someone and help create it into something absolutely blossoming and beautiful? Why is it all about control? Very small dick energy, I have to say. Tofana was able to murder hundreds of men over the course of nearly 50 years without being caught. That is amazing. 50 years without being caught, the most prolific serial killer, until, in a shocking twist, a bowl of soup caused her downfall. Oh, she's so beautiful. Look at that. I'd buy a cosmetic if it came in this little tub. Look at that. Gorgeous. So she made Italian cosmetics using deadly poison. So I'm guessing that the poison was not like, the cosmetic was just like a ruse, because obviously back in this day and age, I don't think, like, although men did used to use cosmetics, I'm not sure if it was in Renaissance Italy that they did, but we definitely had like the fops and the dandies of Britain that looked like this, who were like, bring me my lead-laced white powder. So, who was Giulia Tofana outside of being a prolific creator of a widowmaker poison? That's probably on her tombstone. She was an icon. In many ways, one of history's most prolific serial killers remains a mystery. Well, of course it does. There was no cameras. I'm guessing all the pictures that we have are just kind of like artistic interpretation, because they all look completely different from each other. There are no portraits of Giulia. Literally, that was like it. Hey Siri, how do you pronounce Giulia Tofana?
Sorry, I don't see Giulia Tofana in your contacts.
That's not what I said, sis. Okay. Her special recipe for Aqua Tofana contained enough arsenic to kill without leaving a trace. That is amazing. These like ancient chemists of the old world were so clever with how they could construct these concepts of being like, how do we, bash the patriarchy straight over the face without even leaving a trace. I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. She sells
arsenic on the seashore.
So basically, if you want the lowdown of what exactly arsenic does to the body, I'm sorry, my ankle is really tickly. It's probably all the arsenic. So arsenic disrupts a really important cellular mechanism which converts ATP into usable energy for the cell. Basically, what keeps your cells going, what keeps them moving, what keeps them able to provide energy for themselves and for you. So quite basically, there's something known as the citric acid cycle which helps to produce energy for the cell. It also takes place inside the mitochondria in a place known as the matrix. Oh, spooky. Basically, it kind of disrupts this entire cycle right at the very end by inhibiting a really important acid which behaves as a cofactor for an enzyme. Now, that enzyme is really important in the production of DNA. It helps your body to actually produce important hormones that it needs to survive. So if you're taking a huge amount of arsenic, you're going to ruin this way of your cells creating energy, and they will just straight up die, and then so will you. In the 1650s, one of Giulia Tofana's clients got cold feet. Okay, so what's that phrase? Loose lips sink ships. As I said in the last part of this video, how on earth did any humans survive the Middle Ages? It was literally everything was out to kill you. I probably would not have survived. Do you think you would have survived? She'd bought the potion from Aqua Tofana from Giulia and taken it home. She'd even gone so far as to put the poison in her husband's soup, but suddenly she had been gripped with regret. She stopped her husband from eating the soup, and the suspicious man forced her to tell the truth. Oh, girl, you should have kept your mouth shut. Otherwise, think about all the women you've saved from their abusive husbands in this situation. If you'd have just kept your mouth shut, girl. She finally confessed and pointed the finger at Giulia as the miscreant who sold her the poison. You don't dob in your drug dealers, girls, do you? Let's be honest. You can't do all the drugs that you like and then go, it was him. She did it to me, girl. Send her to prison. Like, how stupid. You're not going to be saved by the bell. Like, you aren't going to be saved from this situation. If she did not go to prison for trying to poison her husband, do you reckon her husband would have treated her lightly had he found out that, all this had happened? No. He would have been like,
I'm going to get you, Barbara.
They always do, these controlling assholes. Giulia was warned of her impending arrest. Who told her? Who spilled the beans? I want to know that. Who came to her and was like, Giulia, you must escape, girl. She fled to the church asking for sanctuary. To be honest, I kind of feel like lots of these stories back in this day end up with someone going, I'm fleeing to the church, girls. Interesting that the church granted her sanctuary, because it was granted. So how did this happen? Would there have been like a priest, I'm guessing, back in the day and been like, yes, girl, come and stay in my chambers. You'll be safe with us. Interesting. The church harbouring murderers? Nothing new there, is there? It was granted, but when a rumour spread through Rome that Giulia had poisoned the water, the church was stormed and Giulia was handed over to papal authorities, who tortured her until she confessed to poisoning over 600 men between 1633 and 1651. It's not looking good for poor Giulia, is it? It's possible that the real number was even higher. I was just about to say that, because most of the time when serial killers are caught, they kind of like, they understand that what they've done is wrong, but they kind of like, go like, no, it wasn't as bad as it sounds. Do you know what I mean? So I'm guessing it was probably nearer to 1,000. Can you imagine slaying 1,000 men? The single woman? Also, I'm not actually condoning murder. I just love a historical story. All these poor women in the past that were treated so horrifically, this would have been like a beacon of hope. So I'm looking at it through that sort of lens of history. I'm not necessarily being like, girls, time to poison everyone. In July of 1659, Giulia Tofana was executed along with her daughter and 3 employees. I know biochemical weapons manufacturers now that do the same thing. Are we slaying them? No. But we're just not ready to have that conversation yet, are we, girls? Some of Giulia's clients were also punished. After her confession, a number of clients tried to feign ignorance and claim their Aqua Tofana was simply for cosmetic purposes.
Just apply this arsenic directly to the optic nerve and it will glow.
Your skin will be radiant and you'll also be very unconscious. My favourite type of cosmetics puts me clean into a coma. That was quite a story. Thank you, medium.com, for that. That was beautiful. So, shall we have a little think about what on earth I've just read? I knew absolutely nothing about this situation, this woman, this poison in the cosmetics. Can you actually imagine it having to be so desperate back in the day that you were like, I've literally almost been murdered by my husband on numerous occasions as he's drunk an amphora of wine or whatever it was that they drank in the 1650s. And like, how would you even hear of this? Be like, there's a woman who lives down the caves. She has a small bowl of very lethal poison. Take a little powdered scoop and plop it into his soup. I should be a Disney villain, girls. What do you guys think of Aqua Tofana and poor Giulia Tofana? I can't even find a picture of what this cosmetic looks like. It literally is just like artistic renditions. Where did she get the arsenic from? Was it ground up apple pips? That was a lot. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. So I'm going to start doing this new thing called an Instagram shout out, which is where I will shout out a new follower of my Instagram in my videos. And this week's shout out goes to Mistress Mayhem. Thank you so much for following, Gail. If you want a chance to be featured on my next video of the Instagram shout out, make sure you follow me on Instagram. The details are in the description box. So since the last video did super well on my channel, I have a couple of new Patreons. So I want to say thank you to Erin Conkle. And I also want to say a massive thank you and shout out to Morrigan E. Wolf, who is my top tier Patreon and my top tier member. And also thank you to the new channel members, Himitsush, I'm not sure how to say that, my girl, Kelly Dawn, Britt J, Kristen K, That Helen, and Shelly84. Thank you so much, Gail. So if you want to join my Patreon or become a member of this channel, the link is in the description box below. I'm also currently fundraising, or crowdfunding rather, for my facial feminization surgery. It is in the GoFundMe in the description box below. And with that, my stunning women on the game, I shall see you all next week. Enjoy. Bye-bye. Thank you. Oh, I've lost the plot, girls.